Okay, Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, Thoughts and Opinions. Now, obviously in the first season, sorry, not the first season, the first episode, I would say I was a little lukewarm about what was going on. I'd say that's fair. Definitely was not as, like, blown away as I have been at certain points. This episode, I was blown away. Like, absolutely blown away at what they were able to do. Okay. Like I said, I want to get the synopsis up so I don't miss anything. All right, so we start out, and like I said, Abby wakes up, but I missed a scene already. The dream sequence she sees is Abby walking down the hallway in St. Mary's, where, and this is not a spoiler anymore because it was revealed in the episode. Obviously, I'm going to be spoiling Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2 in this video, so if you don't want to see that, like, maybe click off the video. Also, if you're in the stream and don't want to see that, like I said, maybe come back in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Now, okay, so Abby's in the hallway at St. Mary's, walking down the hallway, but they did a really interesting thing with this scene where they basically put, like, present day Abby in the scene as well, and she's telling her younger self, like, hey, don't walk down the hallway, you don't want to see what's in there. And it was pretty cool because the younger Abby tells older Abby, like, I don't know you, like, I don't recognize you, which I think is pretty indicative of how Abby has changed just over the, I don't know, few days, or not, few years since this has happened. So that was honestly really cool to see. She then has, like, an incredibly dark line where she's like, his brains are on the floor, like, you're about to see your dad's brain. Do you want? Obviously it's a dream, so, you know, she wakes up right then. That's when all the stuff happens where they notice, like, oh my god, like, wow, Jackson is incredible. They thought it was going to be like just a hint city apparently, but they get there and they're like, oh wow, this is way bigger than we thought. Like, we thought this was just going to be a bunch of tents, and this is like a full-fledged city. They have 4 gates, you know, only 4 ways in, 4 ways out. They've got all kinds of guards, you know, they've got electricity, which is incredible, especially on that scale. So they're like, oh, we bit off a little more than we could chew, probably. All right, so they're in the ski lodge, and Abby decides, oh, okay, I'll go out and like, kind of post watch. Basically, she goes out to just see if she can post watch. But before that, sorry, I missed another thing. Before that, they decide, oh, what's the plan? Like, how are we gonna get in there? Because this is insane. Like, there are so many people. Like, we're gonna get murdered essentially. Abby's like, oh, we'll catch one of the patrols and get them to talk. And then Owen is like, well, what if they don't want to talk? And Abby said, we'll make. And this is when Mel interjects, and she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought we were not hurting anyone. And Abby kind of, like, brushes it off, but it's clear. Well, it's not clear. We're getting into a point where I think the group that Abby brought is starting to realize, like, ooh, maybe Abby's a little more committed to this than we are, like, to the violence about this. So then she goes out on the patrol and blah 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 blah. We then cut to where the second game actually starts. So we see all the, like, a lot of the stuff from episode 1, but in the game, but where the game actually starts after the flashback with Ellie and Tommy, where they're talking to each other about what happened in the hospital. It shows Jesse showing up to Ellie's door to be like, hey, we're going on patrol, I need you to wake up. And this scene, no notes. Jesse knocks on the door and is like, hey, I heard you had a rough night last night. And then Ellie just, like, spills the beans. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, Dina kissed me, like, she was just being Dina, like, she was drunk, like, it doesn't mean anything, blah blah blah. And Jesse's like, wait, what? I was just talking about your fight with Seth and Joel. Like, wait, you kissed Dina? And then Ellie starts, like, profusely apologizing even more, and then Jesse just goes, dude, I already know it. And I like this was one of the changes from the game. Like the line is just a little different. But the line read in the show was way better to me. Like it's a little nitpicky with Jesse in the game because I do really like him. But the line he delivers is like, I know. No. But in the show, it just felt like way more human, I guess. So that's just a little side note. Anyway, they're walking to go on patrol, and Ellie is like, no, I'd rather go on patrol with Joel. Like, I don't want to go on patrol with you. And no offense. Jesse's like, big offense because you hate Joel. Like, that's the person you hate most in the world or something like that. I don't know if he's quite that, quite on the nose with that, but he does say something to that effect. And Ellie's like, look, Joel and I are on that, like, it's a rocky relationship right now, but it's complicated and we're okay. Like, we're going to be fine because I'm still me and he's still him. And so she was like, we're going to go have patrol today, like daddy-daughter day. Jesse says, well, okay, but Joel already left with Dina, which is a big difference from the show. I mean, the game. In the game, Tommy and Joel are the ones that go on the patrol. But in this one, it's Dina, which is a notable change that will be more apparent later. Also, when Jesse goes into Ellie's garage room, the guitar that Joel was playing on the porch is now back in her room. So obviously something has happened. Like they have had a conversation, I would assume, to indicate, or like that's why the guitar is back. So they do this. They start on the patrol, and Jesse and Ellie are on patrol now, which again is a show change because in the game it's Dina and Ellie. So they cut out a lot of stuff from the game, which I'm hoping we get some of this, but I'm not mad if we don't get some of it. As they're going out on patrol, before they go out on patrol, Tommy is like going over what to do for the town if like in the case of an emergency, like all the women and children go underground, everyone else on the rooftops with your guns. Don't be like Earl's dumbass and shoot yourself in the leg. And yeah, so that's basically it. We then get a scene it's straight from the game. A few changes, but the scene is from the game. With Seth apologizing to Ellie. Because he obviously said the slurs last night at the New Year's Eve party, so he's apologizing to her for that. Ellie obviously is like, yeah, whatever, man. Let's get out of here. I don't really want to talk about this. You're dead to me, blah, blah, blah. They leave, and they're going out on patrol. Now, they don't get very far because there is a storm. Now, the storm is obviously a blizzard. It's, the middle of winter up here. So they get out there, and we get another scene with all the group that Abby's with. And Owen, who told her that he would make a plan, once Abby leaves, Owen's like, yeah, I do have a plan. It's get the hell out of here. Like, if anyone's going to die here, it's going to be us. Like, it's not going to be them. It's going to be us. So, yeah, I'm going to talk her into Billy bouncing up out of here. Now, unfortunately, though, that doesn't happen. Because as Abby is out on her little watch or whatever, she sees two horses. And those two horses are Joel and Dina. We don't know that at the time, but I mean, it'll become apparent later. The two horses are Joel and Dina. So we see them, and she says, screw it, and goes after them. So she's going to try to make them talk before she even knows them. We then, there's something else I need to mention about the conversation with Jesse and Ellie. They are talking about how there were people on patrol last night. They ran into a large group of infected that were hiding underneath, like, the dead infected. Like, they were essentially using the dead infected for insulation. And so that's an issue because obviously the cordyceps virus is evolving, and we don't want that. Jesse also tells Ellie that somebody told the council about the smartest infected the smartest infected ever, and now everyone's panicking because of it. Obviously, talking about the stalker that Ellie ran into the market. Okay. As Abby is trying to essentially go down this She's trying to catch up to the horses. Now, I don't know what she thought was going to happen. She's on the edge of a damn cliff. And this cliff is probably like 200 feet. I guess it's not a cliff. It's a slope. But it is a long slope. And Abby thinks to herself, oh, I'll turn around and use my little bean boots here to, you know, slow my descent and get down safely. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work. She tries to go down the hill and just absolutely slides on her ass the whole way, loses her gun in the process. And if that's not bad enough, she lands in a pile of dead bodies under the snow. Now, this is where alarm bells were obviously, because Jesse just explained this to them, and it was like, okay, now we've encountered this problem. So, unsurprisingly, the infected all start getting up, and Abby is chased by the horde. Now, this happens in the game as well. Abby stirs up the horde and is chased by them. She gets to... They did it a little differently here, but like I said, I'm fine with the changes. They weren't bad. She's running away from the horde. She gets to the... She, like, barely climbs this wall. I mean, these fools were running like Usain Bolt after her, and they almost caught her. She climbs up this, like, ladder over a wall, and she's, like, trying to, like, shimmy across a fence. So, essentially, there's, like, a building right here and a fence right here, and... Abby is trying to, like, just go through the fence, like, in between the fence and the building to get around, just try to escape. Well, the iconic scene from the game happens here where the infected just, like, press up against the fence. And I don't know how they did this, but they made it, like, even more claustrophobic in the show than it is in the game. Like, I think they made the fence longer than it is in the game, maybe? I'm not sure. But Abby is trying to get through. The infected are pushing up against the fence. There's this, like, grisly scene of one of the infected trying to, like, put his hand through the chain link fence, and the fence, like, splits his hand down the middle. It was incredibly jarring, but very well done. Obviously, Abby gets out the other end of the fence, but an infected breaks through, and she is about to get got. Like, this thing all over. Now, instead of the infected getting her, though, Joel shows up and shoots the infected and saves Abby. Now, he's like... I don't want to...
This was Khonshu's will.
Obviously, Joel is like a protector. So he's just like, oh, I see somebody young that needs help. I'm going to help him. Which is fine, but he was like markedly more prickly to Abby in the show than he is in the game. Like, in the game, when he saves her, it's very much like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, any bites? Like, you good? Like, hey, he's yelling at her, which I kind of understand because she is definitely in shock. I mean, she almost just died, so I get that it's a little more believable for him to be like in her face trying to, you know, get her attention, basically. Now, the horde is still chasing Abby. They run inside the copper mine, and Dina is in there, and she's calling Joel's name. She's saying, Joel, what's going on? Joel, 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 Joel. And Abby quickly realizes, oh my God, the person I've been looking for I just happened to run into. How fortuitous of me. They escape the copper mine, and they see, well, I'll get back to this. Ellie and Jesse are out on their patrol, but the blizzard has come in, and Tommy has told the radio people to call everyone back. Now, unfortunately, Jesse and Ellie are too far away, so they can't just come back. They have to shelter in place. So what they decide to do, Jesse says, hey, I know a spot. Like, we'll go there and just wait out the storm. This happens in the game, but it's a library. In the show, it's 7-Eleven, which is fine. What they didn't change about it is Eugene's weed lair. So there is a ton of weed in the 7-Eleven. Ellie finds the gas mask bong, which is just a nice little Easter egg for the game players. Obviously, that's part of the game. They sit there, and this is when it's revealed that Eugene was a Firefly. Now, this obviously has implications because Ellie's relationship to the Fireflies. But as they are, talking about what's going on, Jesse tells her that, yeah, he was a Firefly, but he left in 2010, because he was tired of killing. Also, Jesse says that he thinks Eugene was in Vietnam. And then the conversation gets really juicy, where he says that was a raw deal, what Joel had to do to him. Couldn't be helped. There is no cure. So this is even more indication to me that Eugene was bitten. Like, he was infected and Joel had to put him down. And the look Bella Ramsey gives when Jesse says, well, what can you do? There's no cure. The look they give is incredible. Because I can tell that Ellie is thinking, well, I mean, yeah, there's no cure, but there might have been. Like, maybe if, things were different, there would have been a cure, but there's not.
I found them.
Anyway, Ellie's having a pretty good day at this point. Not bad. She is in a blizzard, but she's 7-Eleven. She finds all this weed. She starts packing her sack full of weed because she's excited. She takes the gas mask bong with her. All that stuff. Now, as the Horde is chasing Joel, Dina, and Abby, the pipe from episode 1 that had all the cordyceps in it, there's a construction worker in Jackson who cracks open the pipe. He cracks open the pipe and the tendrils start to move towards it. So it's clear he's activated the virus, and that's bad news. This show invention entirely, but this was so well done. As the infected are chasing Abby, we get as the tendrils come out of the pipe, we get the cut to the infected that are chasing Abby, Joel, and Dina, and they all just turn around. And they all run to Jackson.
On your toes.
And this gave me big Game of Thrones vibes. Like Attack on the Wall, big Game of Thrones vibes. Some people were saying Hard Home. I didn't clock that as the episode was on, but I haven't seen Hard Home in a long time, so maybe. But regardless, the infected are now attacking Jackson. The watchtower guy sees them, rings the bell. Everybody, all the kids go in the basement. Everybody gets up on the wall. Tommy takes over. He's kind of like the general in this instance, and there's an just fantastic battle scene. So they trying to get the infected off the wall, and just to paint the picture here, the horde that is running at Jackson is thousands of infected. I would say. It is such a huge number. The battle starts. They throw a bunch of gas barrels off the side of the wall to try to burn them. They then shoot the gas barrels and throw some torches on them, which sets them on fire. And a bloater appears. Now, the bloater is significant, obviously, just because it's an incredibly strong infected, and, it's always cool to see them on screen, in my opinion. So the bloater appears, and they're all the infected are running straight at the gate, but they've taken precautions to make sure that you can't get to the gate, yada yada. They then, or Tommy notices that the infected are no longer running at the gate. Bloater appears, they turn. They go right or left, I don't know. They stop coming straight at the wall. He then figures out, they're going to breach the wall with the bloater. So Tommy gets down off the wall. He then goes down on the main street and gets in line with a bunch of other guys, probably 5 guys, who have flamethrowers. They load up the flamethrowers and they're ready to roll. 2 of these bozos that get flamethrowers so the bloater breaches the wall. He knocks a hole in the wall and they all run. As the bloater is running in and the infected are just swamping Jackson, 2 of these bozos with the flamethrowers just run. They're like, oh, hell no, I didn't sign up for this, and they run. So Tommy has to sit there and fight the bloater. Now, this is the only slight nitpick I have with the episode. I don't hate it, but I did notice it. Tommy has a lot of plot armor here. He's in the street, and you see the bloater, and he's shooting at it and like waiting for it to get in range for his flamethrower, essentially. The bloater then turns and starts walking toward the building that Maria, his wife, is on top of. And he's like, oh, hell no. So then he really starts going after the bloater. He starts yelling at it, shooting it, and he's walking towards the bloater as infected are just like running by it. I was like, all right, not a huge deal, but I was like, a little bit of plot armor for you there, Tommy. But regardless, Tommy has the flamethrower and he's like trying to draw the bloater away. He ends up running down a damn dead end. And he's stuck in the dead end with the bloater. Who, if you don't know what a bloater is, I don't know why you're watching this video to this point, but the bloater is like one of the strongest infected, so hard to take down. In the game, it takes like just an incredible amount of bullets to kill him, so this is bad news for Tommy. Excuse me. He then fires up the flamethrower and just decimates this bloater. But this is like such a tense scene because he's using the flamethrower to kill the bloater and he like dumps his whole canister essentially onto the bloater. And the bloater's still walking. You're like, whoa, what is he? Like, pull out your gun, do something. Get the blicky, do something. Fortunately, it was like essentially what happened is he had just enough fire on the bloater to kill it. So the bloater's crisp, falls down in front of him. Everything's dead. The other things that are going on in the battle scene is that the infected are obviously now in the town, so they are just like swamping the roofs, like they're tackling people off the roofs. It's just pandemonium in Jackson. They're knocking people off the roofs. It's very, very tense. Like I really thought Maria might get got here, but thankfully she did not. Maria then sets the dog.
One for Jake, one for me.
And this was a scene when I was like, oh no, not the dogs, man. I don't need to see any dogs die. Thankfully, that didn't happen. These dogs are like, I don't need the best canine unit of all time. Maria opens the cage. They run out and just tackle the infected and just start going ham. And I know that some people were like discussing online that, oh my God, now the dogs are going to be infected. But we saw the monkeys in season 1. I don't know if it's explained in the show. I'm pretty sure it is. But the monkeys were infected, and that's how the infection spread to the lab in Colorado, and the reason that everyone had to. So essentially, like, I don't know if this is canon in the show, but my thought on the animals is that like they can carry the infection, but not be infected. That makes sense. So the battle's going on. We're all freaking out, obviously. A radio signal I'm kind of just going by like groups of people here to explain the episode. That's essentially it with the battle. It was so well done. We'll see that. I'll talk about the aftermath here in a bit, but like just the meat and potatoes of the battles is done now. Ellie and Jesse are in the 7-Eleven just kind of waiting out the blizzard, blah, blah, blah. And Tommy figures out, again, this is before the battle, for the infected. Keep the time frame in mind. Tommy figures out that from the radio lady, I think her name is Emily. I could be getting that totally wrong, and I do apologize. Tommy figures out that the only patrol they haven't heard from is Joel and Dina. So he gets on the radio, and he's like, you try them every 10 seconds to get them. Can't get them on the radio, but he is able to get Jesse and Ellie. As he is on the radio with them, they freak out. Jesse and Ellie do, because they're like, wait, you can't get a hold of them? Like, this is not good. Okay, they're in the copper mine. That's close to us. And they immediately spring into action. The blizzard is approaching. Like, they are screwed. They have to move quickly. No hesitation. They're both just like, yep, let's go. Because, again, these are the most important people for these two characters. Obviously, yes, Jesse and Dina broke up, but, like, he doesn't want her to die. If she's in trouble, he's going to help her, obviously. And then for Ellie, these are the two most important people. It's Joel and Dina. So they go off, and they have to split up to go around the copper mine. So they're making a big oval. Jesse tells Ellie, hey, make the oval, stay in the mine. You have to be in the mine in 20 minutes or you're going to get caught in this blizzard. Ellie's like, yeah, whatever. You too, Jesse. Like, let's go. They ride off. At this point, Joel and Dina arrive at the lodge. Joel looks out and sees Jackson on fire. And he's like freaking out. Obviously, Joel wants to protect people. His home is now being invaded. He is freaking out. So he says, all right, guys, get your stuff. Like, you got 3 minutes and we got to go. Abby, though, says, oh, by the way, my name's Abby. And her name's Dina. And his name is Joel.
I found them.
And as soon as the, like, name Joel is uttered, the mood just absolutely turned. And they grab Dina and put a gun to her head. And they're like, we're going to put her to sleep for an hour. And that's just it. Now, this was obviously a change from the show because, like I said, Tommy's the one there with Joel in the show. And he gets his ass beat by a damn pistol from Nora. So, a little more humane. Mel is like, I don't want to put her to sleep. Like, we said we weren't going to hurt anyone else. And this is where Abby, like, you really see the heel turn for her. She tells Mel, either you put her to sleep or I'm going to beat her head in. So Mel's like, oh, okay, well, let's just put her to sleep. Let's just call it a day. Dina gets put to sleep. And she's like, she's struggling before trying to help Joel. But obviously, there's 5 people there. Like, what is... So, they put Dina to sleep. And Abby asks Joel, she said, I will give you one chance. Or I'll get to that in just a second. There's another part I want to mention that happened before this, I believe. Joel's trying to figure out who they are. Like, oh, are you guys raiders? And Abby's like, do we look like raiders to you? He says, no, I guess military? Fireflies? Question mark. And Abby says, there are no more fireflies. Don't you know? They're all gone. They're all gone. That's when Abby says, I'm going to give you one chance to tell the truth. If you don't tell the truth, we're going to kill Dina. She doesn't call her by name, but she says we're going to kill her. Obviously, they're talking about Dina. Abby then asks him, where's the last place you saw the fireflies? And thankfully, Joel tells the truth. He says, Salt Lake City.
On your toes.
And that immediately confirms to Abby that, okay, this is who I thought it was. I mean, you already knew, but like this is a little bit more confirmation. Which I will say, I do appreciate her doing her due diligence here, not just, murdering some random dude. So, all right, we're good. Abby is like going on a monologue here. She then explains that, oh yeah, that doctor you killed, that the nurses said you didn't even look twice at, and they do a little flashback that shows Joel like walking up to get Ellie off the doctor or the operating table, and he just like blasts the doctor out of the corner of, like, he doesn't even look at the doctor, he just shoots him. And Abby's like, yeah, the nurses said you didn't even look at him, but that was my dad, which was like a huge revelation because obviously I knew that because I played the game, but that had not been explained yet to the audience. So I know some people are a little upset that the mystery of Abby has been taken down a little bit, but
Here they come.
I don't know how to frame, I don't know how to describe this, but I don't think there's an easy way to show that in a TV. So I thought the way they did it was fine. She then is like continually monologuing about her people in Seattle and how they have a code and like they normally wouldn't kill someone who's defenseless, but that doesn't count because some people, there's some things that everyone knows are just wrong. And she like goes and walks to the golf bag to get the golf clubs, and she is continually monologuing. And Joel says, why don't you shut up and get on with it, or get it over with? And I was like, okay, respect. I'm tired of this monologue as well, so that's cool.
Vengeance is served.
She then hits him with the classic line from the game. Oh, I'm sorry. She shot him in the knee at this point already, so she's immobilized him. She then hits him with the classic line from the game, you stupid old man, don't get to rush this. He then takes the golf club and hits his kneecap that she just blasted over and over, and then continues to just beat the dog shit out of it. I don't know how else to put that. Yeah, she just after she hits him on the kneecap, she just continually just beats him up. You can tell that the group is kind of like, I didn't know we were gonna torture him. Like, I mean, I don't know what they expected really, because she did say she wanted to kill him slow. But Caitlin Dever, I called her Dever in my prediction for the season, so I was wrong on that. Her name's Dever, Caitlin Dever, is just delivering a masterful performance here. You can see the pain on her face, and she is just beating this man to death. We then cut to Ellie. Ellie sees the lodge, and she runs in, or she doesn't run in. She creeps in, and she hears screams. Now, these screams are Abby screaming as she's beating Joel to death. Ellie runs in, or opens the door where they are, sees Joel on the floor just in a bloody pulp, actually. And she jumps in, pulls out her gun, tries to shoot. She gets a shot off, but I mean, there's 5 people there, and Manny is right on the door. So he tackles her and then gets the gun out of her hand and pins her to the ground. But Ellie is able to get off a knife swipe on Manny. And this is, again, a difference from the show. They've essentially removed one of the characters that was with Abby, which I don't have that. But anyway, swipes Manny with the knife. They pin Ellie to the ground. And Manny is like wanting to kill Ellie, but Owen stops him. He's like, you can't hear what Owen's saying, but it's like clear that Owen's like, no, get back. Like, we're not killing anyone else. Owen then looks at Abby and says, finish it. And the whole time, Ellie is on the ground, and she's delivering the classic line from the game, get up, Joel, get up. Please get up. Like, come on, get up.
Vengeance is mine.
And you see Joel, like, he can't get up. He's like, been beat since, but his like, finger is moving up. Like, you can tell he's trying to get up. Like, his head's moving a little bit. Heartbreak stuff. Like, he's trying to get up just because she asked him. Like, he can't, but he's trying so hard. And
vengeance is served.
Owen tells her, finish it. It's over. Finish it. Abby then, she doesn't beat his brains in anymore like in the game. The club, she has hit him so many times with the golf club that it is broken. It's broken in half. She takes the pointy end, stabs him through the neck. Joel Miller is now dead. Same thing that happens in the game happens again. We like get Ellie's it cuts to Ellie's POV kind of, and you hear the like high pitched ringing that you hear in the game. Like, you can tell that she's experiencing incredible trauma, which is totally understandable and fair. Manny then kicks Ellie in the ribs as they're leaving.
Power of the moon.
And the Seattle crew leaves. Ellie then crawls over to Joel and is like, she pulls the golf club out of his neck, and she's like grabbing his hand, which I forgot about this, but I was watching House of R, the Ringerverse, they were talking about it. This is the same thing she does when Joel gets stabbed in season 1. So it's clear that she's like, she thinks he's going to be okay still, even like she just can't believe what's happening. She's clearly in shock, and she thinks he's going to be okay. So she like squeezes his hand, and she quickly realizes like, oh, he's dead. He's really dead. Jesse then rides up. I guess like Jesse had just missed Abby's crew, so he rides up. They get Joel's body. They put Dina on another horse, and they're just dragging Joel's body back to Jackson. There's a song that plays here that is performed by Ashley Johnson, who voices Ellie in the game. And it was like, it's a beautiful song. I mean, it's haunting, but beautiful at the same time. And it was just a really cool Easter egg, I think, for game players, that Ashley Johnson was back for this role and just singing the song. I forget what the song is called. I don't know. You really want to know what the song is. Back in Jackson, the episode ends there, but I missed a part in Jackson. Back in Jackson, we see like the aftermath of the battle. Jackson is just in ruins, essentially. We see Tommy and Maria reunite, which was nice to see, obviously. Tommy is like visibly shaken, and I mean, who wouldn't be after all that just went down? But he doesn't even know like the most heartbreaking part yet, that his brother is dead. We get this like,
I'm not done.
oh, like we see the townspeople of Jackson, and we see one guy like holds up his hand to one of his friends, and it's got a clear bite mark on it, and he just hands him the gun. Then the camera's moving away, and we just see the gun go off. It was just like, oh, grisly stuff.
Khonshu never rests.
And yeah, that's pretty much season 2, episode 2. It was like anxiety inducing, heart pounding at every turn, like breakneck pace. And then we get to the part where Abby
On your toes.
is
Here they
killing
come.
Joel. And it is just so like, it's quiet. And it's like a incredible change from what we've been seeing the whole time.
Good night.
And oh my God, it was so good. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. They made some changes. Like, obviously, the attack on Jackson doesn't happen in the game. Totally fine with it. I think that's potentially one of the reasons why Tommy is not with Joel on the patrol, just so we can get the scenes of him in the battle, which was, again, fine. I enjoyed every bit of that.
Wow, 4 in a row.
Blown away. I don't know how else to describe it. Blown away. Like I said, I know it was a little lukewarm on the first episode. This one, not at all. They could not have done it better. The only gripe I have is the slight plot armor to Tommy, but again, like it's such a small issue that I'm not even like that mad about it.
On your toes. Here they come.
I'm even more excited for the second season now. I was always excited for it, and I was like, first episode didn't make me uninterested in it by any means, but now I'm even more excited. I cannot wait to see where they go from here. My prediction that, we'll get to see,
Was Khonshu's
well, Joel will die at the end of the second episode has come true, so cool, I guess. I mean, just gut-wrenching stuff. I'm interested to see where the timeline goes from here. I'm not going to spoil anything for future episodes, obviously, but yeah, it was just like an incredible hour of television. It really reminded me of like prime Game of the episodes that everyone still talks about to this day of Game of Thrones. The Red Wedding, Baelor in the first season, like those kind of episodes that like we will be talking about for years. And I think this
rests.
has achieved. We will be talking about season 2, episode 2 of The Last of Us for years. I really believe that. So those are pretty much my thoughts about the episode. It was, like I said, fantastic. Incredibly excited for the rest of the season. And yeah, that's about it. I appreciate everyone watching. If you did enjoy it, like I said, I'll do this every week on Tuesday after the episode. So tune in next week for the recap of episode 3.